Welcome to ESPN Thursday Night College Football. Tonight we join you from the Glass Bowl in Toledo, Ohio for a MAC matchup between the Huskies of Northern Illinois and the Toledo Rockets. Both teams a perfect 4-0 so far in conference play, and a big one tonight for these two teams. The Huskies and Rockets, 5 of the last 6 between these two teams have been decided by a touchdown or less. Tonight amounts to a de facto West title game, with the winner going to 5-0 and the loser falling to 4-1. One of the best offenses in the country resides right here in Northwest Ohio because of the redshirt senior quarterback Logan Woodside.
Yeah, Mike, 45 touchdowns a year ago, 19 touchdowns so far this year, and he doesn't turn it over to the other team. He's only thrown 2 interceptions. So efficient in everything that he does. Watch how quickly the ball comes out of his hand. Very accurate, throws a catchable ball. Tremendous command of this offense. Great leadership, and with an offense that suffered a lot of injuries so far in this season, he's been the glue that's held this thing together.
Touchdown leader in FBS last year. Northern Illinois leads the conference in 9 defensive categories. They've got Sutton Smith to thank for a few of those.
Better keep your head on a swivel and don't get caught standing around the pile, because it's a high motor guy here with Sutton Smith. Originally recruited as a running back, this coaching staff, they were arguing over which side of the ball was going to get to keep his services. 20 tackles for loss, and that leads the country. 9.5 sacks off of the edge, and he is going to be a handful for this Toledo offense. And when you look at some of the keys here, the trench play, when you're 2 championship caliber teams, as these two are, look for the Northern Illinois defensive front. How does the offensive line with Toledo, who's had to reshuffle but is regrouped in their offensive line, hold up and protect Logan Woodside? And then again, Sutton Smith, they've got to be aware where he is at all time. Expect some screen game, expect some tempo to try and get him off of his game. And both teams, particularly Northern Illinois, tremendous in creating turnovers, scoring points when they're not on offense. And really the goal for both of these teams, with these high-flying offenses, don't give up explosive plays, tackle in space.
And that's our game track, brought to you tonight by Taco Bell. Mike Cousins along with Tom Luginbill. So glad you could be here with us tonight. For November 2nd, Lugs, here in Ohio, we have made out pretty well. 63 degrees for kickoff.
It's a bit balmy, Mike, and I'm enjoying it.
Rod Carey in year number 5 at the helm for NIU. The 46-year-old native of Madison, Wisconsin, started his coaching career 23 years ago in high school in Minnesota. And Jason Candle in year number 2, the Ohio native, a 17-5 mark here at Toledo.
Just like Matt Campbell a year ago now at Iowa State, both Mount Union products.
The famed D3 school. Now here comes Toledo on the opening return. Sent into the air by Josh Orn, and it's out to the 20-yard line where the Rockets take over. Return of 19 yards. So 7-1 for Toledo, 4-0 in the MAC. Coming off a big win, 58-17 last week against Ball State. And it's now 3 straight games with at least 300 yards on the ground for this prolific crew.
Yeah, and this player is the reason why this offense has been so prolific. They've thrown the ball, they've got great balance running the game, but it's his decision-making and protection of the football that makes this offense go.
Here's Terry Swanson on first down. He's got a nice carry. The MAC's leading rusher at over 100 yards a game, brought down by Michael Allen.
Yeah, and this is really why this offense has gelled with some new offensive linemen in there, particularly guard to guard. Terry Swanson now has rushed for over 100 yards 5 times this year, and this offense has rushed for over 300 yards in 3 straight weeks.
Reggie Gilliam, the tight end, in motion here on first down. On the ground again and upended at the 30-yard line. No gain there after the tackle from Jack Heflin. Now, last week, when that win against Ball State, a season-high 335 yards on the ground. And this is coming in a season after they had Kareem Hunt go to the NFL.
Yeah, 3 different players, at least over 60 yards a week ago. It was a monster effort in the run game. And again, taking more pressure off what is already a potent passing game behind Logan Woodside, the quarterback.
Out of the 5 wide look, Swanson comes into the backfield. Woodside looking to throw, and that ball is tipped and incomplete, intended for his leading receiver, Deontay Johnson, out across midfield.
Now, Logan Woodside got a little flat-footed on this, and if he could have led his target, Johnson, across the middle of the field, this is a touchdown. He just throws it behind him on his back left shoulder. He throws this out a foot in front of the numbers. Johnson's off to the races for 6.
Woodside and the Rockets with 3rd down and 10 here on their opening drive. Top 50 in the country converting on 3rd down. With time as he steps up in the pocket, completes the pass to his tight end, Jordan Fisher. Big pickup into plus territory. Dropped to the 39-yard line by Michael Allen.
Well, same result as you would have had on the play before, Mike. And this time the ball is placed perfectly right on the face mask. Really impressive. Now you're seeing some tempo from Toledo. Once they get that 1st down, they're going to put some pressure on this NIU defense.
On the ground here after the pickup of 30 yards. And Jawan Johnson, the outside linebacker, makes the stop on a gain of 2.
See this team in white here, Northern Illinois, very, very disruptive on defense. Really good in tackles for loss, sacks. They play on the opposite end of the line of scrimmage. A lot of multiple 3- and 4-man fronts. A lot for Logan Woodside to digest.
Well, it'll be fun to watch to see how they defend the run and how well they defend the run. They give up just 106 yards a game on the ground. This time it's Woodside looking to throw. He's got a completion down at the 20-yard line. Drew Rossi, the freshman from Powell, Ohio, takes it inside the red zone.
This was beautifully constructed by Logan Woodside. He starts to the left, works to the middle of the field, comes all the way back to the tight end, which is his 3rd option. That's a veteran play there, working through progressions on offense, getting him in the red zone here for Toledo.
Couple of tight ends loaded up to the right side, and they run that way. It's Swanson who goes down near the sticks inside the 5-yard line. Allen on the tackle again.
So far, Sutton Smith, who we highlighted coming on air, who's been the disruptive force for this defense, he's been manhandled so far. He's just 6 feet tall. He's not a physical presence, but he has not been able to generate pass rush, nor has this defense stopped the run on this drive.
John Vay Johnson, the motion man. The run goes up the middle. A dive with a stretch, and it's a touchdown from 4 yards out for Terry Swanson and Toledo.
Toledo just running the football at will. Really nice job up front there in the offensive front. As we've mentioned, injuries have plagued this offensive team. Went through a bit of a rough patch in the early part of the season. Now they seem to really be coming on again. Have rushed for over 300 yards as a team each of the last 3 weeks.
Jamison Vest is on for the extra point for the Rockets. And his kick is good to make it a 7-0 advantage on a quick strike opening drive for Toledo. Terry Swanson polishes it off with a couple long passes from Logan Woods. Back at the Glass Bowl, which has been here since 1937. Here's a 2,000-pound rocket outside, which may or may not, Luke, be pointed toward Bowling Green.
Oh, no, there's a GPS on it. We've got longitude, latitude, we've got coordinates. It is dialed in. I can assure you of that.
Toledo was locked in on its opening drive as they went 8 plays, 81 yards. and Terry Swanson punched it in from 4 yards out on the ground. Here Jamison Vest puts it in the air about 4 yards deep. Northern Illinois will get it first and 10 at its own 25-yard line for the Huskies, who are 6-2, 4-0 in conference play. So if you're just joining us, a couple of teams on 4-game winning streaks, perfect in conference play. It's Toledo with the really strong offense, Northern Illinois with the powerhouse defense, and at quarterback, a guy who's a bit untested in Marcus Childers.
Untested, but really starting to come on. The redshirt freshman from the state of Georgia had to win himself a close game a week ago versus Eastern Michigan. Overtime had to come from behind. A great moment for this kid to generate some confidence and belief on behalf of his teammates.
He's throwing on first down. He finds a redshirt sophomore running back, Marcus Jones, for a pickup of 3 before he stopped by Jawan Woodley, the linebacker.
So it's imperative that Marcus Childers get rid of the football quickly, get into rhythm early so he can generate some confidence, move the chains, get some rhythm with this offense.
Looked like he might want to throw it there. Instead decides to tuck it and run, and is brought down just short of the sticks at the 35-yard line. Gain of 6, and that's the type of play we can expect to see quite often with Childers.
There's no question Brian George, the defensive coordinator at Toledo, was really concerned about this element of Northern Illinois' game, because now all of a sudden with Childers, even though he's just a redshirt freshman, he can run the football. You've got to account for his legs on every snap.
Jones takes it headlong into the defensive line and gets 2 yards. That's enough for the Northern Illinois first down.
Now, one of the things that's interesting about these two teams, as we've outlined, both undefeated in the conference, Mike, you could change their uniforms, and they're so similar athletically, you might not be able to tell who's Northern Illinois and who's Toledo. That's how equal this matchup is tonight.
Up to the 40-yard line on the ground, pick up a 4. And so is that to say that it can really essentially perhaps be decided by quarterback play?
I think it can. I just think these two offenses are good enough. The two defenses, they're going to get their fair share of stops, hopefully avoid explosive plays downfield. But these two teams are too successful to get continued 3-and-outs on defense all night long.
Childers looking down the sideline. He's got single coverage. And that pass is incomplete, intended for Spencer Tears. A good thought down the sideline, but it falls to the turf.
Really close one. I like the shot downfield, though. Give this young man a little confidence. You've got one-on-one versus press coverage. There's no safety off the hash. It could cloud the read for the young redshirt freshman in Marcus Childers. But now instead of having a 3rd and 1, Mike, they've got themselves in a 3rd and what looks to be about 7, not necessarily where you want to be when you're backed up inside your own 39-yard line.
Split right between the hash marks. Looking for a quick throw. He's got the slant across the middle, and with some space to run, it's all the way down to the 40-yard line for Chad Beebe, the redshirt senior who's battled through injury all the way into his redshirt senior year.
Well, I really like how patient Childers was with this throw. He took his time, hung in there, pocket was collapsing a little bit, kept his eyes downfield, throws a strike, moves the chains, now in plush territory.
They needed just 6, and they got 20 there on 3rd down. Childers tapping his feet and drops it off to Spencer Tears. Chad Beebe making that catch to pick up the 3rd down conversion. His dad, Don, played in 6 Super Bowls with the Bills and Packers. And he missed already more than a month with a shoulder injury and a concussion against Eastern Illinois on September 9th, not to mention all of last year with a right knee injury. Forward to the 35, Woodley coming up, senior from Columbus again.
And he looks an awful lot like his dad. You see him in the uniform. I'll tell you another guy he looks like P.J. Fleck. I remember broadcasting some games, seeing P.J. Fleck in those uniforms for Northern Illinois at the wide receiver position as well.
Reggie Howard, the tackle coming off the field, hurt there for Toledo. 3rd and 5. And if there's ever a comparison anybody could get to P.J. Fleck, it's about as high a motor comparison as you could have. Can they get it again on 3rd down? A good pocket. That ball was tipped Woodley got a hand on it. He has been very active on this drive.
Receiver was hoping for a little contact there, not realizing the ball had been tipped. Doesn't get exactly what they want, but I'll tell you what Northern Illinois does get here, an opportunity, even though this is a tip ball and an incompletion, to get your kicking game on the field, pin Toledo's offense back, and force them to go the long distance. It's tough to drive 85, 90 yards if you can pin this ball back inside the Toledo's own territory.
Matt Ferentz on to punt, and we've got a flag down and a whistle stops play. This one's going to be backing up.
False start, number 11, offense. 5-yard penalty, 4th down. Please reset the game clock to 8. Thank you.
He's going to be glad to have that one back. Trayshawn Foster, guilty party there for Northern Illinois. Hopefully take a little bit off of this kick here and get this thing over into the corner inside the 10-yard line.
So it's Deontay Johnson back at the 10-yard line here for Toledo. Ferentz with a second opportunity and still a little bit too much leg on it. Flag down on the play.
Flag's difficult to see over there on the 15-yard
During the
line.
kick, holding, return team, 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick, 1st down, timeout.
Well, it'll still be a long field for Toledo with the first quarter lead here at home.
ESPN Thursday Night College Football, brought to you by Cabela's. Get to Cabela's for all your hunting, fishing, and camping needs. Cabela's, it's in your nature. And Allstate, official protector of college football fans.
Kareem Hunt, 3rd-round pick of the Chiefs this year, played here at Toledo from 2013 to 2016. Adding his name to the wall of a multitude of players who have gone on to the NFL from here in Toledo.
I'm just waiting for him to get going.
Oh, yeah, he's done nothing yet.
I know, so far. I mean, listen.
Well, Terry Swanson has not been a bad fill-in for him this year either. On the opening drive, 5 carries, 27 yards for number 2 in blue in the backfield, and the touchdown for the game's only score so far. Jason Candle, Toledo's head coach, said of Kareem Hunt that that's a guy he keeps in touch with just about every day. They wanted him to drop 20 pounds over the course of his career. He did it and worked his way to stardom here in this league and now onto the next level as well. Woodside, the Kentucky native, has to take off and drop to the 12-yard line. Pickup of 2.
I thought it was interesting, Jason Candle talking about Kareem Hunt and, you know, going into his last year, he brings him in his office and he says, hey, listen, I've got to be very blunt with you. You can't play at the weight that you're currently at. You've got to get down to 212, 213. Are you willing to do what it takes to be the best that you can be? And sure enough, shows up to camp in his playing weight, had a great year, and we all know what's happened next.
That's one of the things that the staff says about Jason Candle is he is different from other coaches in that he's going to tell you what you need to hear, whether you like it or not. And he says if his players buy into what he's selling, usually it works out well for him. Low snap as Woodside goes over the second level of defense to the 35-yard line. Second catch of the night for Jordan Fisher and a 1st down.
Well, pay very close attention to the placement of this ball because he's got inside leverage from the linebacker down the seam. It was a really well-thrown ball as they're going tempo here, and the ball's on the ground.
Ball squirted loose. Swanson as he almost booted it away, fell on top of it, and recovers the play.
Let's go back to that play before so you can see the accuracy. This is a seam ball thrown. It's got to be completed about 18 to 22 yards. But look where the ball's placed because of where that middle defender at the linebacker spot is dropping for Northern Illinois. Just great awareness, spatial awareness of the coverage and where to put that ball and give his receiver a chance.
Woodside, a guy who's studied a lot and studies a lot now, as he's already graduated from Toledo, so he's working on his next level degree, and he's only taking online classes, so he's got all day to spend around that football facility. Looking for the edge, nothing doing, stopped at the 30-yard line as Sutton Smith gets in on the action.
That's the first time tonight he's had an opportunity to make a play. For the most part, he's been blocked, he's been isolated, and standing at just 6 foot on the edge, one of the ways you can neutralize his disruptiveness is lining up, putting him in a phone booth and running right at him. That time he got the better of Toledo's offensive front.
After that penalty set them back, big gain of 22 for Fisher, but they now set up in 3rd and 14. Looking to beat the sticks, and the throw over the top is too long, intended for Deontay Johnson. Real close from Woodside, who leads the MAC in both passing yards and total offense, but it's now 4th down, and the Rockets will punt.
I think Woodside, it was a well-thrown ball, but would have liked to have had just a bit more air to be able to adjust to that ball in the corner route close to the sideline. But nevertheless, a big stop for Northern Illinois on defense to give their offense a second stanza here.
It's the freshman Australian Bailey Flint. And Chad Beebe takes the fair catch at the 30-yard line. Good starting field position on this next drive for Northern Illinois in a battle of MAC unbeatens. Rolling off the comeback win against Penn State, J.T. Barrett and the Ohio State Buckeyes take on Iowa at Kinnick Stadium, number 6 in the rankings. Saturday, 3:30 Eastern on ESPN, also available on the ESPN app. Mike Cousins and Tom Luginbill here with you from the Glass Bowl in Toledo, where the Rockets at home have a 7-0 lead, and it's Northern Illinois back to work after forcing a Toledo punt. Redshirt freshman quarterback Marcus Childers gives it away, and Toledo's defensive line ready to punch right back. Marquise Moore getting in on the stop.
Take a look at Iowa there. Coming up, Ohio State, a big game, coming off an emotional come-from-behind win versus Penn State. You see the close games versus number 2 Michigan a year ago, 0-8 against number 3 Penn State. How about the result of this one coming up?
Strong dart out across midfield. Spencer Tears with great hands to bring that one in. And on his back, Justin Clark brings him down.
To Spencer Tears here on the Bang 8 skinny post off of the little token fate in the backfield. This is a really well secured football because it wasn't thrown out in front of Tears. Big mitts, tucks the football, open middle of the field, no coverage problems for Marcus Childers.
They get 29 yards there. And a zip line throw to DJ Brown goes nowhere. They lose 4 on that first down play.
Durallo Blue doing a nice job from his safety position, making the tackle. Now you put this offense in 2nd and 15 after a big play in the passing game.
See how Childers responds. 3-0 as the starter this year. Those are the only 3 starts he's had in his career. On play action, the out route at the 35-yard line, snared by Christian Blake.
Something tells me, Mike, I don't think he's going to be relinquishing this job anytime soon. If his play continues to increase or production goes up with each and every rep and experience, he's going to get better. The offense is going to grow. I think it's going to be hard for any of the other quarterbacks. They've had some injuries to get the job back from this young man who's played really, really well the last 3 weeks.
3rd down and 3, connects on a crossing route with his tight end Shane Wyman, and there's a flag in between the hash marks as the play comes to an end with a first down run. So the officials confer after the catch by Wyman. Team leader in touchdown grabs this year with 6.
Pass interference, offense, number 89. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Third down.
That's against one of the other tight ends, Mitchell Brinkman.
You might have got Brinkman on the
Previous play is under review as to whether or not the ball crossed the line of scrimmage. The pass crossed the line of scrimmage.
Well, it looks like it clearly crossed the line of scrimmage. The question is, what was the actual infraction on Brinkman? It looks like it was a pick, an illegal pick from the opposite side tight end. This should be an easy call for the officiating crew here tonight.
Yeah, you got a whole log jam right there across the middle of the field on that replay.
Well, see, when you're on offense, those are called rubs because rubs are legal. On defense, they call those picks because picks are clearly illegal, and that was clearly a pick.
A pick or other assorted 4-letter words when you're on defense, yeah. He got 2 rockets with 1 block. Wyman's been a dangerous weapon, though, especially when they get into the red zone. Number 35 there, who made the catch. Talked about his 6 touchdown catches. Second straight year he's done that for head coach Rod Carey, who's been very successful after inheriting this program from Dave Doran when he left for NC State. It's an NIU team that, even though they went 5-7 last year, they've played in 6 straight conference title games.
You see right there where he catches this football, and you can see right on the 34-yard line is where that third down marker is. They're trying to determine whether or not he caught the football past that marker. If he had not, then what they termed to be a pick downfield would not be a penalty. But I think he's over the line of scrimmage here, and this should be a fairly simple call for this officiating crew that seems to be taking a while to look at it. Not enough indisputable video evidence there. Rod Carey's pleading his case with the officiating crew right now, hoping to get a freebie. 7 years in the program, 2 as an assistant under Dave Doran.
The pass did not cross the line of scrimmage. Therefore, there's no foul for pass interference. Be Northern Illinois' ball, 1st and 10 on the 28-yard line.
Fans here don't like that one.
So they ended up getting 6 yards after all that.
I did not see clear video there with the angles that we had that would have been indisputable to overturn that call on the field.
On the reverse, looking to throw, Blake. So reaching into the bag of tricks for the Huskies here with Childers from Blake.
If Blake can get that ball up, Marcus Childers is a walk-in touchdown from about the 17-yard line. Little end around wide receiver pass. You see Childers running down the sideline. He would have been off the races, maybe in a foot race there.
On the field is a completed pass. The play is under further review.
So take a look at this here for Childers, who right now is basically working well ahead of schedule.
Sure. As
the 3rd starting quarterback for this team this year. It started with Ryan Graham against Boston College back at the beginning of the year. He's battled through injury. Then it was Daniel Santa Catarina, their number 7 in white, who had trouble with interceptions. And here's Childers. See if he got it.
It's very difficult to tell there, Mike, if that ball bounces off the turf. Now, keep in mind, to secure the catch, as long as you have control and continue the act of the catch of the football, the ball can touch the ground.
I think there, though, as he goes to the ground, that the
After
nose of the football
review,
touched.
The ruling on the field of a completed pass stands. First down.
And I agree with that call because I don't think there was indisputable video evidence to overturn that call.
So much quicker look there on the catch for Childers.
Interesting back-to-back calls there for this officiating crew as far as the reviews are concerned.
Ball the 18 now. Harbison gets his first carry of the day. Strong leg drive as he works all the way down to the 10-yard line. Harbison, who sat out last year, a transfer from Virginia with just his 10th carry of the year.
Listen, if Northern Illinois can run the football effectively in the manner in which they have, they don't need to go up tempo. They need to keep this Toledo offense on the sideline, make sure they come away with points here on offense.
Very similar look. Staying on top of the right hash mark and near the chains on 2nd and 3 for Harbison. So basically just whittle down the number of possessions that there are going to be in this game?
Absolutely. Slow the game down. You're moving the ball methodically. You're moving it on the ground and through the air. Childers is not making risky decisions with the football, and you're controlling the line of scrimmage right now. Keep this pace going. Keep Toledo on the sideline.
Childers wants to throw, zings it out to the side, and it's Wyman, that tight end, who's a big target in the red zone. And it's out of bounds, spotted at the 4.
Big Wyman, the coaches at Northern Illinois were joking with us this week saying, you know, everybody and their brother knows that we're going to throw the football to the tight end in the red area, and he still gets open, and he still catches touchdown passes. A big mismatch for opposing defenses here in the conference.
An area where Childers might be able to run and overpowers that out of bounds at the corner of the end zone.
I'm actually a little surprised they didn't run the football right there. 2nd down, you have the down to throw it here on 3rd down, especially the way they've been running the football. They've controlled the line of scrimmage. They've got great push on this Toledo defensive front. Let's see what the choice is here for Northern Illinois on offense.
So keep an eye out for Wyman, who's to the left side of the formation toward the bottom of your screen. Off to the left side, on the ground with some extra push inside the 1-yard line. The ball is just short of the goal line for NIU.
Northern Illinois is hurrying up here, Mike.
Quickly right back to the line of scrimmage. Childers for Harbison, 2nd effort, and he's got it. Touchdown, Huskies.
I like the decision. You're on the road. It's early. You're playing well on offense. That's just a missed tackle off the edge from Toledo. And Juwan Woodley, his weak side linebacker position, unblocked off the edge, has got to make that play on 4th down.
So Woodley goes slip and slide, and Christian Hagan with a chance for the extra point. Luke, you said it, on the road, you got to be a little bit gutsy, and it pays off here for NIU.
Yeah, go for it, get the points. Now you've got confidence. You put your defense back on the field. All tied up here in the Glass Bowl. From Toledo, Ohio, 7-7.
.239 left first quarter. Northern Illinois, and Trey Harbison punching in his first touchdown of the year, the first score of the night for the Huskies. 7-7 here on the road. Northern Illinois and Toledo. Somebody's going to get their first conference loss tonight. Both teams at a perfect 4-0 in conference play on 4-game winning streaks. Phillips out to the 22 on the return for the Rockets. College football on ABC Saturday. We'll have Clemson at number 20, NC State at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, as the Wolfpack try and take down Clemson for the first time since 2011. And then 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, Virginia Tech against undefeated Miami. A huge matchup there in the Coastal. You can see both those games on the ESPN app as well.
What a test for the Miami Hurricanes. I think Virginia Tech's playing really, really well right now.
So that drive starts at the 21 for Woodside and the Rockets. And we got a whistle pre-snap.
First charge timeout, Toledo. 30-second timeout.
You know, Mike, you take a look at some of these quarterbacks getting ready to take the field in the ACC this coming weekend. You know, Kelly Bryant looks like he's back 100% healthy. What a difference that makes for the offense at Clemson. Ryan Finley, he's kind of under the radar. When you see him in person, you see he's an in-rhythm type of guy. He's a drop-back passer. He can make all the throws downfield very, very accurate. But the guy out of this whole group, and I've seen Malik Rozier, our crew had him earlier against Florida State in a come-from-behind victory, but Josh Jackson is the guy to keep an eye on. If you haven't watched Virginia Tech, he's an exciting young signal caller.
And a guy who can be a danger for teams around the ACC for a few years to come. Big hole, but there is a flag that opens up on the backside of the play as Tompkins takes the carry, the sophomore from Pittsburgh. The flag sits back at the 19-yard line after the run of 27.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense, number 55. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
Spoke too soon.
Don't worry, Logan Woodside thought it was on them too. Weston Kramer for Northern Illinois on defense. See off the ball from his nose tackle position. He's just got his left paw up there into the face mask and head and neck area. It's a good call by the official and a very, very well executed play at the point of attack on behalf of Toledo's run game.
It's a big neck stretch. I don't even know if there's a yoga pose for how far that one was bent. So it brings them all the way down to the NIU 37-yard line here with a very advantageous first down. Woodside hit as he throws, and that ball comes up short. So he was looking down the sideline into single coverage. Intended for Daryl Richards.
It's the first time we've seen some pressure on Logan Woodside, and that time looked like Logan took a little bit of a pump fake, held onto the ball maybe a split second too long, took that hit and caused that errant throw.
He's got such a great receiving core around him with Deontay and John Vay Johnson, and that's even without Cody Thompson, who they lost at the beginning of last month against Eastern Michigan with a broken leg. He's still the second leading receiver on this team's stat sheet. Yeah, nice juke to start for Art Tompkins.
Well, we've highlighted Sutton Smith, who leads the country in tackles for loss. You see him on the edge here, number 15. You see how short he is. If he doesn't win with speed and quickness, he's not converting speed and quickness to power, so he's not going to win in a phone booth. He has been stymied at the point of attack. You see there's no pressure on quarterback Logan Woodside. And again, tough for him to get going if he can't win with first step quickness off the edge.
Phillips goes in motion here on 3rd down and 8. Collapsing pocket, hit as he throws, and Sutton Smith, the disruptor for the NIU defense.
There's that speed and quickness I talked about off the edge. When he gets low and gets skinny and dips that shoulder, it can be tough for these offensive tackles for Toledo with some length. As you see him off the edge, you see how quickly he got off the football. Really well done. Played with leverage. That stand-up position that they've got him in gives him a chance to get a bit of a head start. And it's just tough on offensive tackles when you've got such a height advantage over Sutton and he can use it against you.
Well, that's a guy recruited by defensive coordinator Kevin Kane back in 2014. Initially to play linebacker, but they've found the best fit for him. As BB lets it take a hop. And a Rockets roll all the way down to the 1-yard line. A beauty for 34. 1:16 left here in the first.
Jason Campbell doesn't like that because he doesn't like the field position. And you know, just as we talked about before, Toledo takes over the football inside their own 12-yard line. It's a long way to have to go. and capitalize. Most teams can't do it. You're going to make a mistake, and that's why Jason Candle, the head coach at Toledo, defensively, he's excited about this. Now he gets his defense with a long, long field behind him.
5 men along the line of scrimmage here for Toledo, and look out as Jones took a bump. Fortunately for him, it was forward. He gets out to about the 3-yard line.
This is where it's important, Mike, that the young quarterback, the redshirt freshman Marcus Childers, be very aware of the situation and be aware of the field so that you don't make a catastrophic error that results in points here. You got to be smart with the football and whatever they decide to do offensively.
Design rollout, well, they've got short yardage just at the opposite end of the field, so they go to Wyman, the reliable target in the red zone, backed up in their own, helps them stretch the field for 6.
I really like that call by Mike Uremovich, the offensive coordinator. You move the launch point, you get your quarterback out into some safety because he can run, so if it's not there, he can always tuck the football, and now you're in a manageable 3rd and 4.
See if the Rockets dial up pressure here as the clock winds to a close on quarter number 1. Early motion, and we've got a flag.
Offside. Defense, number 30. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
That's on the senior linebacker, Jawan Woodley. Not who the defensive staff would necessarily expect, but it gives extra life here to the Huskies when they were pinned back on the 1.
Jason Candle not happy about that one bit because that's field position. Would have gotten the ball back likely around midfield or so. Now you get a fresh set of downs for Northern Illinois.
And you get the end of quarter number 1. Toledo 7, Northern Illinois 7. 2 4-0 teams in conference play, evenly matched after 15 minutes. First drive was under 3 minutes for the number 11 scoring offense in the country. Toledo able to pound it in, and we're even after 1. Jawan Woodley and Toledo on defense as they flip the field here as we get ready for the start of quarter number 2. Northern Illinois and Toledo in what may well decide the MAC West this year. Mike Cousins, Tom Luginbill, glad to have you with us here with the Glass Bowl in Toledo. And although the forecast said 9 o'clock, here we are shy of 7 o'clock Eastern time, and a pretty decent rain has started to fall. Childers wants to throw. He sidearms it out of bounds. Past Shane Wyman, his tight end.
Now you're going to find out with both of these quarterbacks how they handle the conditions. If that ball gets wet, how dry they can keep the football. Does that affect accuracy? And then what does that do? Does that lead to potential turnovers as you see the water coming down now here in Toledo?
Rained pretty hard here last night, stretching all the way out east toward Cleveland. Jones trying to get the corner. He's got nice speed and shoulders his way through a defender out toward the 24-yard line as Josh Tichy runs him into the kicker's net.
Love it how he lowers the shoulder right here. It's a little stiff arm. Give him a little what for. Do what you got to do to get the yard to gain.
Good rotation between Jones and Harbison in the backfield, who's in there now on a fresh first down. Childers gets the carry, just his second of the day, and this one a nice one as Tichy rides him toward the sideline. Well, you mentioned it, Luke, is that the backs have gotten off to a good start,
Sure.
and now maybe the run game opens up a little bit for Childers.
Oh yeah, certainly, and you see right here off the quarterback counter, and really patient of Childers and follows the blocks. And now this forces Toledo to have to make some decisions within their scheme. Do we now walk one of these safeties down near the box, which creates one-on-one matchups in the passing game on the outside?
Give to Jones, who takes 3 defenders to bring him down as he crosses midfield as this drive continues with a pickup of 7 after they started off of a punt back at their own 1-yard line.
Toledo's not accustomed to not being able to stop the run, at least on early downs. This is foreign territory to them. And NIU right now having their way with this Toledo defense, again, in another 2nd and short situation.
Bringing the tight end over toward the left side. Toledo was ready for the stop on Jones. It's a defensive unit that in 4 conference games so far, Toledo has actually been the best team in the league. Just a few over 300 yards allowed per game and under 100 yards on the ground in those 4 games.
It's really been a salty group, and they've been tough to move the ball on. It's one of the reasons why the offense has been so good is they've had a lot of extra possessions. Right now, this Toledo offense has spent most of the game on the sideline.
Childers follows the pile. Didn't get enough to move the sticks there on 3rd down.
I'll be very surprised, and yeah, we're going to see Rod Carey at Northern Illinois bring his punting unit on. I think you've got to here. Get this ball punted, get them backed up, try and get it into one of the corners so you limit a return. And again, play field position if you're Northern Illinois on defense, force Toledo to go the distance.
Well, Ferentz has been a very good punter this year. The freshman from St. Louis has landed 12 punts either at or inside the 10-yard line this season. See if he can do it again here. The line drive takes a barrel roll, and we've got dueling 1-yard line starting field position for both teams. Last few minutes, the punters have been the star of the show. The ESPN app is a fan's best friend. You can stream every ESPN and ABC college football game live at home or on the go. Access to scores, news, and highlights all season long. You can download it to start streaming now. Battle of field position here, almost 3 minutes into the 2nd quarter. And Toledo finds itself pinned back at its own 1-yard line to start the drive.
The defensive coach's dream.
The redshirt senior Woodside steps up with time into double coverage. His lofted throw is caught. Deontay Johnson cuts it back inside the 30. Still going. Red zone and down near the 10-yard line. From the 1, they have flipped the field with a massively explosive play.
And just like that, Albert Smalls, the corner, beat down the sideline for Johnson, and there we go. Flip field position in a hurry, 89 yards on that reception. And this is what Northern Illinois.
Completed pass. The play is under further review.
What would they be reviewing here, Mike?
I think the question might be, as he was near the sideline, perhaps did he step out of bounds and maybe cut a chunk of yardage out of that play.
Well, that'll be clearly a review on behalf of the booth, because the official running down the sideline was not looking down at the footwork of Johnson there, number 3 for Toledo.
That looked pretty clean along the sideline.
Pretty clean. Look at the official right here. He's not peering down. So this is going to come for the booth entirely, and it looks like he did not step out of bounds there, Mike.
Well, Deontay Johnson, 89 yards there, coming off of that win against Ball State last week, where he caught a career-high 170 yards on just 4 catches. 2 of those went for touchdowns. One of those passes, this is the 2nd straight week where he's had a massively impressive catch. He was out near midfield last week, jumped up, tipped a ball to himself, and took off.
And then it changes the momentum. It changes the feel on the sideline. It gives you a sigh of relief offensively because you're not backed up. Field position has been flipped. So many positives from a play like the one you referenced last week versus Ball State, but also here in this game, because this thing was, if you're Kevin Kane, the defensive coordinator for Northern Illinois, you're feeling really good to this point.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The play was being reviewed to see whether the runner had stepped out of bounds after making the catch. First down, Toledo.
Good call by our crew tonight.
So it slows down the surge of the drive a bit for Woodside and the Rockets. And they're right back to it.
Fortunate he didn't fumble that football too, not seeing the defender come off of his left side to make the tackle there in Smalls.
Gilliam, the tight end, loads up to the right side. Woodside wants to throw. Now he tucks it. He's inside the 5. Loses the ball at the goal line. The signal is touchdown from the near side official. So give him 6 for now. That was close.
Logan Woodside might not want to run too far to the sideline. Bobby Jones, the outside linebacker for Northern Illinois, redshirt senior with the hit.
They've got trouble on their hands.
On the field is a touchdown. The play is under further review.
So that ball is loose, and it doesn't appear that there's a knee down for Woodside.
Mikhail Allen, number 20, is going to end up recovering the football here for Northern Illinois. And when you reach for it the way Logan reached for it, and your head goes down to the turf, you know you fumbled the football.
So they've got a loose ball here. Ball pops out, no knee is down, and then with Allen right there, per the rules, you've got a clear recovery in the immediate continuing action of the play.
Correct.
By that, what they should be looking at here after they realize that it is indeed a fumble is to see where the ball's going to be spotted.
It was determined that the runner had fumbled prior to crossing the goal line, and the ball was recovered by the defense for a touchback. Northern Illinois ball, 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line.
Northern Illinois gives up a huge explosive play on the big throw to get him down there. Right now, Jason Candles trying to get a little bit of an explanation. It's clear that that was a fumble. It's the correct call in the review booth by the officiating crew and Tom Stapleton, the head referee, and his crew here tonight.
So this drive starts from the 20 for the Huskies. Up along the sideline, a nice chunky yardage for DJ Brown, the junior from North Little Rock, Arkansas, on 1st down. Or how about that to suck the life out of your team, to go 89 yards, then you've got to pause for a review, then you think you got a touchdown, and it's really a turnover.
89 yards in one play. Takes the air right out of the stadium when you get the turnover in the end zone.
Fake to Jones, and now a throw over the top with bracket coverage. No opportunity for Christian Blake.
Really the first throw tonight that we've seen Marcus Childers, Northern Illinois quarterback, actually force. Didn't like what he saw, held onto the ball a little bit too long. Wasn't a dangerous throw, but understand where you're at. You got 3rd and short, live to play the next down.
10 for 15 tonight, 61% completion rate on the year. On the rollout, the ball is dropped by Wyman, but there is a flag thrown by the referee, Tom Stapleton.
An uncharacteristic drop from Wyman, a sure-handed target for this Northern Illinois offense.
Holding, offense, number 89. Penalty is declined, 4th down.
That's 2 penalties tonight on big number 89 for Northern Illinois. The big tight end got called for the pick earlier. Get the hold this time around. Mitchell Brinkman. You'll see him there with his hand on the ground next to Wyman, 35. He goes inside. Ooh, that's a really poor call by that official right there.
Johnson back for the return. Here he comes from inside the 25-yard line. Long strides out to near the 45. Inside 11 minutes, second quarter, still even in Toledo.
ESPN Thursday Night College Football, brought to you by Allstate, official protector of college football fans, and Angry Orchard Hard Cider, naturally refreshing.
Mike Couzens, Tom Luginbill, back here with you from Toledo. A throwback to your coaching days outside Detroit, back to your old Midwest roots here.
Yeah, just a little bit. You know, I'm watching Logan Woodside down here. Myself and his daddy, Jason Woodside, have played together at Eastern Kentucky. Remember him when he was less than a year old. He's become a fine young man and a great football player here for Toledo.
Woodside has waited his time to become the quarterback. Last year led the nation, 45 touchdown passes. This year, just 19. Tongue-in-cheek. First down and 10, and he gets it to the outside for McKinley Lewis as it drops to the turf. But Woodside has been through multiple quarterback competitions here. Yep. Philip Ely, the transfer from Alabama, beat him out a couple times. Terrence Owens beat him out as well. There's a great story on ESPN.com from Adam Rittenberg. He tells a story about how him and Malik Zaire, who's going to get the start actually this weekend, going to quarterback camp in Cincinnati. They both won co-MVP. But the problem was there was only one trophy at that camp. So they get to talking. One guy's got 25 offers. The other one has zero at that point. Woodside says, well, I guess I'm keeping the trophy. Back to throw here after the incompletion. Second down and 10. That's right near the sticks on the catch for the tight end, Jordan Fisher.
I think it might just be, we're going to get the head linesman, going to go ahead and give him a first down on the opposite side. It wasn't the same mark that we got from the side judge at the top. First set of a fresh set of downs now here for Toledo. After this play, Mike, important point to make about Logan Woodside and his career here at Toledo.
Teams even in first downs here at the 10.5-minute mark, second quarter, trying to break this 7-7 tie. And Toledo takes its second time out of the half.
Knotted up at 7 here in the Glass Bowl. Toledo, Northern Illinois, both 4-0 in the MAC. Logan Woodside there, you see the Toledo quarterback getting ready to snap the football here. I think one of the things that's important to note, Mike, as you talked about, you know, what he's been through to become the starting quarterback here, he never thought about transferring. He weathered the storm, kept working, kept believing in the coaches, kept fighting, realized maybe it wasn't his time yet, and look at the results because of the choice that he made. I think it's a great lesson in an era of college football right now where we see guys bolting and leaving at the first sign of instability.
So the college football unicorn in midnight blue and gold goes incomplete on first down and 10. He's off to a nice start today.
He is. He's been very accurate. He's really missed one throw on the skinny post. He threw slightly behind his intended target. Everything else, as you can see here, ball's been placed very nicely. There's the 89-yarder to Deontay Johnson, which ended up resulting in a Logan Woodside fumble into the end zone. One play later, and that's got us here at 7-7, but Toledo driving once again with 2nd and 10 before us.
And it's Swanson in the backfield with Woodside. He drops back to throw. Great protection so far today. A run up the middle, and a notable difference from his last run through the offensive line. He slides here to hold on to the football and get 3. A fumble on their last drive by Woodside. Initially ruled a touchdown, squirted away and turned into a touchback for Northern Illinois. Neither team has been able to do much offensively. Surprising, certainly more so for Toledo. Number 2 scoring offense in the league behind only the Bobcats of Ohio. But because Toledo has scored 106 points in its last 2 games. Three-man rush on 3rd down and 7, and a fastball is swatted away Nicely defended by McKelty Williams, the sophomore safety.
Williams and the free safety all over that. That would have been a very, very difficult throw to make into a very tight window. On time, you took a shot, you don't have it again. Punt the football. You're going to put your defense on a long field as you take a look at this breakup from the safety there. Just as the ball is delivered, you're going to see a shot here on Woodside, a little bit low around the waist, but certainly nothing to impede his ability to throw the football.
And they've done a good job so far of neutralizing Sutton Smith, who's had a handful of pressures against Woodside. But for a guy second in the country in sacks, you might not know it from watching the first quarter and change here so far tonight in Toledo. 7-7 in a big week for college football, as Halloween brought us the initial college football playoff rankings. And from what I can gather, you really don't have too much to quibble with here.
I agree with the top 4 without question. I actually agree with the top 10. Now, I think it was laid out very simply for the committee to have this one on point in this first week. You see Oklahoma there at 5, with Ohio State at 6 and Penn State at 7, going with the head-to-head. I think that may start to wane in terms of importance as the season wears on.
It's Jones out of the backfield with some extra life on first down. What do you make of the teams at the bottom there, 9 and 10, Wisconsin and Miami, with great records, but not necessarily the best resume?
Yeah, clearly a reflection of the resume. A lot of criticism there to this point. I'm going to be broadcasting Wisconsin and Indiana on Saturday and get a chance to see them up close and personal. The problem for Wisconsin is they may not have many opportunities to improve that strength of schedule. Miami's going to, and it's going to start this week with Virginia Tech.
Flag here after the gain on first down of 18.
False start offense, number 64, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Now, what do you think the odds are going forward that Georgia can hold on to that number 1 spot?
I don't think it matters, but it's all, I think, going to depend on their performance, at least initially, against Auburn on the road. That's going to be a very, very tough contest for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Harbison turns the edge, and a belt tackle takes him out of bounds by Woodley, who's been quite active today on the second level.
Take a look at some of these preseason polls versus the playoff rankings that were released this past Tuesday. Now, you're going to see Florida State in there. Obviously, things have changed with the quarterback position. DeAndre Francois being injured. We'll get back to it here in just a couple minutes.
Here goes Childers. It's Woodley again who runs him down at the 35-yard line. So injuries certainly played a factor for Florida State at the beginning of the season. Who do you think is next closest to jumping into the top 4?
I think probably Ohio State in terms of how they're trending. I think they're getting hot and peaking at the right time. I think they're playing really, really good football. I think you could make the argument they're playing better football right now than Oklahoma is, although Oklahoma beat them head-to-head so early on. That matters, maybe more so now than it will down the road.
3rd down and 4. Childers lets it fly. He's got a first down. His top target, DJ Brown, with the catch. Second year at wide receiver for Brown out of Little Rock, Arkansas. Played his freshman year at running back. This is a program that recruits very well, not only in the greater Chicago area, but they can dip into the South a little bit as well.
You've seen a lot of teams in the Mid-American Conference do that, particularly for a lot of their skill.
And at quarterback, a native of Georgia, as Childers lets it fly with single coverage down the sideline and too long.
The corner for Toledo is calling for a little offensive interference. Mathis there, number 6, feeling like he got held. Didn't have an opportunity to maybe stretch out and make a play to intercept that football. Yeah, you see Blake, number 4 there with the hand on the back of the jersey. I can see where the beef's coming from.
Team captain doesn't get his way, looking for the flag. And it's 2nd and 10 for NIU, trying to break a 7-7 tie. A good extra effort on these runs. Harbison has been getting a nice bit of the workload today. Just 9 carries for him coming into this game. In really what has been for most of the season a 4 running back rotation, but Jordan Huff, injured for the 3rd straight game with a high ankle sprain, has hurt them a little bit. Rush through the middle. That'll move the chains for the Huskies.
This is a physical point of attack run game, and you know, with Jones and the stable of backs that Northern Illinois has, there's no dancing. I mean, they're chin straps down, head forward, and they're pushing the pile. See Harbison there standing next to Childers. This is a physical group here up front and the running back position for Northern Illinois.
And not necessarily an extremely high scoring one. Short pass is complete to Wyman. They had that win in overtime last week against Eastern Michigan, 30-27. To be fair, they probably shouldn't have won that game. Multiple missed field goals from EMU helped give NIU life in that one and eventually won it in overtime on a Marcus Jones touchdown run. But they've only topped 30 points twice in 8 games this year.
Yeah, it's been tough sledding. And, you know, they've played the likes of Nebraska, San Diego State, Boston College out of conference.
Oh, ankle tackle saves a touchdown as Harbison nearly escaped, grabbed by Josh Tichy, the safety.
I spoke earlier about Toledo having to walk an extra safety down near the box, which is exactly what they've done. And if they don't make that tackle right there, there's nobody in the back end to tackle Harbison, the big tailback. And he is just lowering his shoulder, and they make the ankle tackle there. But Toledo's got to be careful without having anybody in the middle of the field.
Gain of a dozen, perhaps a chance to take a shot. Ball incomplete, intended for Chad Beebe.
You know, the difference between Northern Illinois tonight and Toledo tonight on offense is the Huskies have been much more successful on first and second down, giving them manageable third down conditions, whereas Toledo on multiple occasions tonight has been in 3rd and 7 plus. It's not where you want to be, so credit these Huskies in their run game against Toledo's defensive front 7.
And we've got a whistle after initially some defensive shuffling along the line for Toledo.
False start, offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Penalty is on the right guard, Nathan Vellos, the redshirt sophomore out of Oak Creek, Wisconsin.
A little bit twitchy. Right there, you see on the end.
Backs him up to 2nd and 15.
Please set the game clock to 6:07, please. 6:07. Thank you.
Double please and a thank you. Tom Stapleton, very polite.
Absolutely. Sugar will take you a little further than hot sauce.
4 receivers, ball tipped and taken away. Trayvon Mathis swoops in. He wanted the flag earlier to try and get the interception, and redemption is sweet. A little sugar for the Rockets on defense.
Boy, as a quarterback, you just love to, or hate to have a tipped ball like that in a situation where the ball goes up in the air and it's in a crowd. Just nothing good can come of that. And as you mentioned, Mike, Mathis coming up with the turnover after he thought maybe it was robbed of an opportunity for one 2 plays earlier. And a big stop for this Toledo defense.
Just the 2nd pick thrown by the redshirt freshman Childers this season, making only the 4th start of his career. Now turns it over to the 5th-year quarterback Logan Woodside with 6 minutes to go before halftime. He throws on 1st down. Fancy footwork up the sideline for Johnson. A 1st down and then some.
That's what makes offensive football right now so difficult, is tackling in space. This ball comes out of Logan Woodside's hands so quickly, and then you got to make that tackle right there. Deontay Johnson avoids the tackle, and you gain an extra 7 yards. That should have been tackled for a gain of 5. That's so difficult on defensive coordinators today.
Swanson wrapping the ball up as he's then wrapped up as well. Bobby Jones, the linebacker, stops him just short of the sticks.
Now we find them in 2nd and short, as we just mentioned, Mike. Finally for Toledo, getting a manageable 2nd and 3rd down situation.
Woodside short drop, pelted as he throws, And then flattened like matzah, Deontay Johnson on the crossing route gets 3.
How about this catch, though? He earned every ounce of that 3 yards. Logan Woodside's going to take one right to the kitchen here. And you're going to see this catch. Whoa, whoa, by Deontay Johnson. And I'm not so sure that...
Ruling on the field as a completed pass. The play is under further review.
Interested in what they're reviewing here. I'm not so sure there wasn't a targeting foul on Logan Woodside there. Under pressure as he delivered that football.
And that can be created by the replay booth as they take another look at the entirety of this play.
Yeah, see what they are actually reviewing here, whether the catch, as we say here on our little graphic, was the pass complete. We'll give you the replay here.
I don't know. I think that ball might have moved as he went down.
I think so, too. I think that ball might have come loose.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he maintains control of that as he goes to the ground.
No, it doesn't there. Two good angles at it. It was a tremendous effort from Johnson, knowing he's going to get hit. That ball's high as Logan Woodside delivering the football gets hit. Probably put some lift on the ball. What a tremendous effort. Even if this is overturned for the ball hitting the turf there.
Johnson has shown himself to have some impressive athletic ability, whether it was tiptoeing along the sideline or reaching up with one hand for what is right now a 3-yard pickup on the catch that's under review.
This is a fast football team, Toledo. They've got some skill guys that can create some problems for people. You know, there's a reason why they've gone on the road and they've beaten in Arkansas, beat Tulsa here.
After review, the ruling on the field of a completed catch is confirmed. The runner was down at the 43-yard line, so it'll be 3rd down and 1.
Another interesting call.
On the ready for play.
You agree with that?
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, me neither.
I love the effort, though.
Because like you said earlier,
Correction, the 42-yard line.
The ball can touch the ground, but the receiver has to maintain control
and
of that.
Complete the action of the catch.
To
correct.
keep possession, and it didn't look like it there. The officials say otherwise. So 3rd and 1 for the Rockets with Swanson in the backfield. Johnson in motion. They run to the spot he vacated. That effort does not look like it's enough for Swanson, with William Lee and Jack Heflin stuffing him back.
Jason Candle, the Toledo head coach, is thinking this one over. They haven't had many opportunities on offense as we see Northern Illinois at the point of attack just stuff this Toledo run game, and they're going to go for it here on 4th and 1.
Huskies show pressure. A pass on 4th down. It's complete. Deontay Johnson to the 31-yard line, and Toledo converts for the 5th time on a 4th down this year.
I actually like this call. You've had limited possessions. You got to get something going on offense. You're at midfield. You're playing good enough on defense. A good throw, pitch, and catch with Deontay Johnson, Logan Woodside.
And right back to it. Wanted to throw, didn't like his look. Nice wheels as well. A double knee slide to the 22, corralled by Allen.
So far, they've been some short pitches and catches, and we've had the long 89-yarder to number 3, Deontay Johnson. But to this point, regardless of the route, nobody can cover him. He is slick. Now, this is a quick, explosive player in space.
Swanson off to the left side. And immobilized and brought down quickly by Bobby Jones. And they've been quick to get right back to the line of scrimmage, not necessarily to snap the ball, just to survey their options.
Yep.
And a 3rd and 1 here as we go toward 3 minutes left in the half.
And again, that's the difference between this drive and their previous drives. Manageable 2nd and 3rd and short situations gives you a lot more options in the playbook.
With tight coverage, the slant route, it's Johnson again. What a reliable target to have for Logan Woodside.
He is just so explosive off the football. They've tried to press him. They've tried to play off and bail technique on him, and he just leaves people in the dust. That's a wide catch radius and a big window for Logan Woodside to throw the football into, and he has been accurate tonight.
Now 1st and goal. Good blockers in front for Johnson. Trying to get him the ball in any way they can. Good creativity from offensive coordinator Brian Wright.
Deontay Johnson, just such an impressive playmaker. You see him hand the ball off to him there in the run game. You see some jet sweep, bubble screen stuff, and then they've also gone vertically with him. He's just so versatile.
Shaquille Seymour, the redshirt freshman out of Cleveland, saves that one, keeps it in between the hash marks, going toward 2 minutes left in the half.
First charge timeout, Northern Illinois. This will be a full media timeout.
I'm not so sure I understand that call. Why get cute? You're driving the ball down, go ahead and take it and run the football or throw it the way you've been doing it. Do it. Get out of this half. Toledo, Northern Illinois tied up 7-7. Toledo knocking on the door here on the U.
College Football Playoff Top 25 Ranking Show. Tuesday at 7 on ESPN.
I don't know how they
presented by
catch.
Goodyear.
.205 left before halftime. Toledo's going to get the ball back to start the second half. So a big play here as they sit on the doorstep trying to break this 7-all tie. Johnson, top target tonight, leaves the backfield. Now Woodside on the run, hit hard at the 5-yard line by Jawan Johnson. Lays a nice hit to end that 3rd down play.
There was certainly no peace treaty signed between these two teams before kick here tonight. There's been some pads popping.
And it's Johnson who's down after laying that hit on Woodside. He may have hit his head on that play.
Yep. See Deontay Johnson off of the little rub route in the flat there.
Already 5 catches for him, 131 yards tonight.
Now Logan Woodside just didn't have enough time to find him and was really just scrambling to try and make something out of nothing there, and hoping Johnson or Jones here, Johnson for Northern Illinois, as you see him put that hit. And Logan Woodside is going to end up being okay.
I misspoke earlier. I said that Toledo was going to get the ball to start the 3rd quarter.
Northern Illinois.
NIU is going to get the ball to start the 3rd quarter, so I beg your pardon on that one. 4th down, and the clock winds inside of 2 minutes as Jamison Vest comes on for the chip shot field goal opportunity.
Yeah, if Toledo had gotten the ball coming out of 3rd quarter, out of halftime, I think they might have gone for it here. I like this call. Try and get some points on the board knowing that you're going to play defense coming out of halftime.
Try from 22 for the very reliable junior who's at 85% this year.
Charge timeout, Toledo. 30-second timeout.
Both these teams riding 4-game winning streaks into play here tonight. Midweek action, always difficult to get ready for. A lot of times on short rest, the 19th year of midweek games here in the MAC, but this one crucially important because it could very well decide the West, with the loser taking their first conference loss and perhaps only conference loss of the year.
You know, and it's such good competitive football top to bottom because the style of play and the caliber of player is so similar. So you got to have that edge. You got to have something that separates you from another team, and oftentimes in this conference, it's the quarterback position.
Vest, the mechanical engineering major, is good. on the try. Toledo gets some separation to make it 10-7 with 1:04 left in quarter number 2. Don't forget, Allstate is proud to be part of the team that comes together to do good by contributing to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. To date, Allstate has contributed millions in scholarship funds. Sustained drive there for Toledo. Didn't end exactly the way they wanted it, getting it into the end zone. But they go 12 plays in 4 minutes and 59 seconds.
Rod Carey, the head coach at Northern Illinois, even though they're down, he's got to feel pretty good with how they're playing defensively, considering what they've been up against in this prolific Toledo offense to this point, holding them to just 10 points, and really it's kept them off the field. That's been the important thing, and the goal is to not give up explosive plays, to tackle in space, and they have done that for the most part here tonight.
"15 minutes as far as time of possession goes in favor of NIU. So a positive to check that one off in at least one column for the Huskies, getting set for the half. College football on ABC this Saturday. It starts with number 4 Clemson and number 20 NC State, trying to take down Clemson for the first time since they did it with Mike Glennon in 2011. And then it's Virginia Tech at undefeated Miami, which can clinch the Coastal with a win and a Georgia Tech victory over Virginia. Both games with CFP implications, also streaming live on the ESPN app.
Well, Malik Rozier has done what he's had to do to get wins. They haven't always been pretty, and Josh Jackson is just now starting to come into his own. He could be an exciting player in Blacksburg for years to come. I think that matchup, and it's not that any one game defined your season, Mike, that matchup, though, might define who Miami is to this point in the season.
Defining moment, speaking of definition, of the first half, what would it be for you?
Without question, it's been Northern Illinois' ability to keep Toledo behind the chains. Outside of that last series that led to 3 points for Toledo, Toledo's struggled to get themselves in a positive position on first and second down, and that's what changed in that drive, and as a result, they got points.
They trail by 3, but a small victory, like you mentioned, with how well and the frequency with which Toledo scores, averaging almost 41 points a game. That's 11th best in the country. So to hold them to 10 in the first half, not to mention the defense coming up with a huge play to force the fumble on Logan Woodside that otherwise, well, it was ruled a touchdown,
sure,
but could have resulted in 6 no matter what. Somebody's going to get their...
The College Football Playoff Top 25 Ranking Show, Tuesday at 7 on ESPN, presented by Goodyear.
Welcome back to ESPN. Thursday night college football, getting ready for the start of the second half, and it's Toledo at 7-1 with a 10-7 lead over Northern Illinois. First drive and a quick strike for Toledo, under 3 minutes, moving the ball down the field well, and it resulted in 6.
Really the most efficient drive of the night for Toledo, but Northern Illinois held firm. They respond on their second possession with a touchdown, but from that point on, it has been all defense. You see the forced fumble there into the end zone. That was called dead because the play was blown dead, and he recovered it in the end zone. Ball comes out for the Northern Illinois offense. But really, aside from the 89-yard pass play from Logan Woodside to Deontay Johnson for Toledo, there have been no explosive plays in this game, and neither team has been able to cross the opponent's 30-yard line more than twice.
So Deontay Johnson with another big week, 152 total yards after he went for 170 in the air last week in the win against Ball State. Both quarterbacks not getting a ton to work with. Woodside, Childers showing off their rushing ability as well as ability to find receivers through the air. Woodside, the redshirt senior, last year led the nation in touchdown passes, and Childers for Northern Illinois, which will start on offense here in the second half, getting just the 4th start of his young career.
Well, and he hasn't done anything here on the road against the other best team in this conference, Toledo, to put their team in a negative position. So what Marcus Childers, and I'm sure the message at halftime from Mike Uremovich, the offensive coordinator, was to, hey, listen, we've got to sustain drives between the 30 and the 30. They're moving the football, but then they can't seem to get into the opponent's red area. That's the next step for this offense.
Jamison Vest, the Florida native, lines it up with Beebe and Embry. Back to receive for the Huskies, and it's Beebe with a foot on the goal line. He finds a seam and gets tripped up toward the 20-yard line to start the second half after a return of 19 yards.
Mike, very interested to see any adjustments Toledo makes within their defensive front if they continue to walk maybe one of their safeties down, as Marcus Jones at the tailback position has really had a nice day, as has Trey Harbison, number 22, the running back. Both of those guys have ran the football extremely well behind a very stout and powerful offensive line for the Huskies.
And it's all been in relief of Jordan Huff, the redshirt senior from Alabama. Their leading rusher out for the third straight game with a high ankle sprain. Jones on first down with a cutback lane, and now room across the 40. Corralled from behind, swung down out of bounds by Khalil Robinson, the safety. That's the way to get the second half rolling for NIU.
Trevon Mathis, number 6, the corner, could have made a play there on the perimeter. He misses this tackle right there. Really good job by Jones. Good vision. He's got to switch that ball into his left hand, which he does there at the end of the run. Well, that's a way to get the offense started in the run game for Northern Illinois.
Childers too strong. Fastballing it over the head of Beebe.
You know, a run like that gives you some breathing room, opens up the playbook a little bit. You see him get up to the line of scrimmage real quickly. Doesn't surprise you. They take a shot. A little miscommunication down the seam there between Childers and his intended target, but now you're in much more favorable field position here offensively.
Here comes pressure. Strong throw out toward the edge. Beebe's got it. First down and more inside the 35-yard line.
No, this ball is slightly underthrown in the sense that it wasn't thrown to the outside shoulder and to the sideline. If you watch Beebe, how he reacts to this ball, did a really good job coming back to the football, helping his quarterback out. Watch him break on the comeback here, but come back to the football just a little bit there. I'm sure he makes the catch, get to the sideline, and get yards after the catch.
Gun for Jones, too strong for the running back. Lost it off the fingertips. Trying to get him out of the backfield and set things up for Childers, a guy who has only run the ball 5 times tonight, but does allow them to do a little bit more with their playbook offensively, things that they say they necessarily haven't been able to do for some time since Jordan Lynch was quarterback, and now back on campus in DeKalb as the running backs coach in his first year. Jones gets it with a hole through the middle, trying to cut things back, and he takes it for 14 yards. Strong run.
Well, we've talked tonight about the tight end, Shane Wyman, big number 35 in the passing game in the red area. But how about him up front? You see him there highlighted. He's going to come across here. He's going to kick out the end, doing a nice job, and Jones very patient as he secures the football and gets upfield, and another big run here as well.
Harbison elusive, stretching toward the goal line, and it's spotted at the 1. 19 yards. Tichy saves a touchdown.
Harbison, that time in relief of Jones, Mike, and as you mentioned, both of those guys have been a strong 1-2 punch. Jordan Huff, their leading rusher, has been out, has been for 3 weeks, and to this point, to open up the third quarter, Northern Illinois has run the football and thrown the football at will.
Childers keeps it, and the Huskies lead for the first time tonight. 4th rushing touchdown of the year for the redshirt freshman from Georgia. Gives the Huskies a chance to make their lead 4.
Isn't it just like the Mid-American Conference? A little ho-hum in the first half. You stick with us after halftime. Next thing you know, fireworks are coming all over the place.
let's just say that the Pac-12 does not have exclusive rights to exciting football after dark.
There's no question.
And fortunately, in the last gasps of autumn here in Ohio, darkness comes a little bit earlier this time of year.
Certainly does. Well, 63 rushing yards on that drive for Northern Illinois to open up the third quarter. 2 big runs, Jones, Harbison, the 1-2 punch in this offense to put the Huskies up over Toledo. We'll be back to the Glass Bowl in just a moment.
Marcus Childers, just the 4th start of his career, rising to the occasion tonight here at the Glass Bowl in Toledo. A 1-yard touchdown scamper right through the middle gives NIU a 14-10 advantage over Toledo. A crucial game in the West Division of the Mid-American Conference. Both teams at 4-0 as the regular season quickly has the end approaching. Just a minute 33 on the scoring drive for NIU.
Yeah, a little bit of balance, a little bit of everything. Starting off with the big completion to Beebe along the sideline. That gets the Northern Illinois offense into plus territory, but the damage was done on the ground between Jones and Harbison. Offensive front for Northern Illinois really setting the tone early here in the third quarter. And really the Huskies at will did whatever they wanted on that drive, which started inside of their own 25-yard line, ending up with 7 points.
Harbison has been a pleasant addition to the running back, usually quartet. Today just triumvirate for NIU. Just 9 carries coming into this game and has 8 already here this evening. Terry Swanson, the MAC's leading rusher, over 100 yards a game, gets his first carry of the second half. Pretty quiet first 30 minutes for him, only 32. Swanson rejoins in the backfield. Huskies showed pressure. They bring 4, and a beautifully placed ball finds Deontay Johnson toward midfield, and his big day continues as he makes his 6th catch of the night.
Well thrown ball there on the corner route from Logan Woodside as we see some tempo now. You get that first down, get up the line of scrimmage, start running some plays.
Swanson takes it, and a backside tackle. Wow. Josh Corcoran swooping in to help bring that play to a close, and how?
It's interesting. You see Toledo here with their tempo, and they get up to the line of scrimmage. Mike, you mentioned this in the first half, and they get up like they're going to run a play, and then all of a sudden it forces the defense, Northern Illinois, to have to get lined up, get set, and all of a sudden you set back and you slow things down. It can get very, very frustrating because you're feeling like you're always on your heels, and then all of a sudden the game slows down, gets you off track a little bit defensively.
No gain, 2nd and 10 here for Toledo. With motion, trying to bring the defense down. Fisher, another grab. They haven't gone to the tight ends often today, but when they have, those plays have been impactful.
Yeah, Logan Woodside has liked his tight ends tonight, and that was a wide open Fisher down the sideline. As what looks to be, Mike, tempo. Once again, let's see if they lay back and let things settle in.
So it looks like tempo. What's happening here with Woodside?
Well, they're getting a sense of what is Northern Illinois aligning in. How do they get themselves out of a bad play into the right play to try and create an advantage on offense?
Drop goes quickly over the middle. Denzel McKinley-Lewis, targeted earlier in the game, dropped the ball. Picks up 5 there.
Officials timeout for an injured player.
It's Brandon Heidecker, number 57, the right guard. Down for Toledo, Mike.
An offensive line has been a little bit of mix and match this year for the Rockets. Second and 5 coming up with Heidecker down.
This is not a position where they can afford to have really any more injuries. This Toledo team showed tremendous depth in their offensive front after losing both guards, both centers at various points during this season, have had to reshuffle from guard to guard throughout the offensive line. Are just now starting to gel. As we referenced earlier in the first half, 3 straight games of over 300 yards rushing on the ground for Toledo. As you see him highlighted there at the right guard spot. He just gets rolled up on by an opposite defender there.
That right knee gets twisted up with Josh Corker in the defensive end.
And he doesn't even see that one coming.
So he's taken off for evaluation as the drive continues with the ball at the Northern Illinois 22-yard line. It's 2nd and 5 Toledo. How much latitude does Woodside have here to make changes?
A tremendous amount. They trust him with the offense, pass protections, get in and out of plays. He's well versed in that stuff.
He wanted run. He got it with Terry Swanson.
No, it's interesting. You asked me what's the point of lining up fast and then sitting back and waiting. And you want to see what everybody's in defensively, try to get in the right call, avoid being in the wrong call. But there's a flip side to that too, because the defense now can key in, give you some different looks, and after they see you check, they can then check out of it, and now the play clock becomes an issue. So it's a constant chess game back and forth.
Rockets like their chances with a 5th-year guy taking the snaps. He goes and empties it out on 3rd down and 4. The good pocket, his top target, Deontay Johnson, 1st down on his 7th catch of the day. Short gain of 7, but Johnson over the middle has been perhaps the most effective route for Toledo.
Yeah, the little slant routes, that time a little 5-yard option route, just settling into the open area of the voided zone. You see 10 targets there, caught 7 balls, 161 yards, including an 89-yarder in the second quarter.
Jones steps through, grabs a couple there. Toledo the favorite not only to win this division, the MAC West. They'd go to 5-0 in conference play with a win tonight. But also in the media poll, picked to win the MAC title game coming up not far from now, December 2nd, a month away in Detroit. Swanson over 3,000 career yards. They go to him again here, and he's in, standing up. Terry Swanson crosses the goal line. Back and forth we go, and a score from 13 puts Toledo back on top.
See number 5, the middle linebacker for Northern Illinois there. Excuse me, number 6 right there in the middle of your screen. This is a really good job up front at the point of attack, adjusting to the second level there by Toledo's offensive front. Sammy Kassim pulling around from his opposite guard position, open up that hole for Swanson.
2 rushing scores for him today, 10 on the year. Rockets by 3 at home.
ESPN Thursday Night College Football, brought to you by Sonic's Car Hop Classic. Pair a foot-long coney or a cheeseburger with onion rings for $2.99. And Esurance, auto and home insurance for the modern world.
That's the rocket from the U.S. Army outside the Glass Bowl here in Toledo. We got a 3-point game. You know, it comes to statues, by the way. We have to mention the statue of Diesel, the Husky, that was unveiled this year.
A high five.
At NIU. From the 2013 game.
Yeah. In
memoriam, statue dedicated to Diesel. Very good dog. Definitely would pet Diesel. Or high five.
It's a good pup.
With Tom Luganville, Mike Cousins, glad to have you with us here for some action on a Thursday night. And a low-scoring first half has quickly turned into a back-and-forth affair. Still just 3 points of separation between Toledo and Northern Illinois, the two best teams in the West. Beebe on the return. Gets out to the 21-yard line where NIU takes over after a touchdown drive by the Rockets.
Yeah, and a quick answer from Toledo. Logan Woodside hits Deontay Johnson here on the corner route, and then Fisher, the tight end, down the sideline once again to convert on third down to Johnson, his main target. Then it was on the ground with Terry Swanson for the touchdown run. Quick work of the clock, quick work of Northern Illinois' defense, and what we thought was going to be who can come up with a big play may now become who can get a 3-and-out.
It's been a good balance today for NIU and offensive coordinator Mike Uremovich. It's their 27th run of the game against 26 pass plays for the Huskies.
Really good balance, and what I like from Coach Uremovich is that when he's found success doing something, he's stuck with it until he sees or finds that Toledo's had an answer. So far for the ground game here in the third quarter, Toledo hasn't found an answer for stopping it just yet.
Pass and rush yards almost near even as well. Haven't seen too much on the ground from Childers. 6 carries for him tonight. Pretty explosive numbers, though, coming into this game.
Yeah.
In his 3 starts, 91 carries for 329 yards and 3 scores. Hit and sacked. There's the stop they needed on third down. Dendarlo Blue slicing through and bringing the drive to an end, a loss of 6.
See him coming off the edge there, and the back here is tasked with blocking him and just doesn't get the job done. That's athleticism versus athleticism. Got to move your feet if you're a back in pass protection. Not a good job there.
That was Tommy Mister, the running back transfer from Indiana, who they brought in specifically on third down for pass protection. It didn't work out the way they wanted.
Back here at the Glass Bowl after our first 3-and-out of the second half. Toledo gets the ball, and that man sees the field once again. Deontay Johnson, the prime target tonight. 10 targets, 7 catches. He has been uncoverable for this Northern Illinois defense. He's been the go-to guy for quarterback Logan Woodside, as you see the numbers for the fine receiver. And now this offense is going to get the ball in favorable field position, something Toledo did not have much of in the first half as they kick it off, where they started off here from their own 41.
2 backs, 2 receiver look. 6:52 left in the third for Logan Woodside. Heavy workload for Terry Swanson today. Pick up a 3 there on first down, averaging 104 yards a game. Swanson just looking to get over 50 here midway through the third. Now back to throw off the back foot, and it's a connection across the middle. Daryl Richards beat the defense. Toledo is on the move.
If you go back to the first quarter and this exact same throw, this exact same route from Logan Woodside, he throws this football backside left shoulder, and it's behind the receiving target. This time he leans him across the field. No safety help to interfere with the throw. Really well executed.
31-yard connection and a bit play there. Pass goes incomplete toward the sideline as the offensive line played statue.
Offside. Defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Really good hard count there from Logan Woodside. Really impressive discipline as well from Toledo's offensive front to hold their water. Get a freebie of 5 yards, 1st and 5 now on the 20-yard line. So you're back-to-back almost instantly, Mike, inside Northern Illinois' 20-yard line in the red area, and you've got all the momentum now going on offense.
And with Logan Woodside at quarterback, who tonight with the yardage he's put up has passed Bruce Gradkowski, former Toledo quarterback, who's here tonight doing radio for the Rockets as the all-time leading passer in school history. Short drop off down to the 20-yard line for Desmond Phillips, the sophomore from Miami.
2nd and 3, offenses love that. As Toledo hurries to the line of scrimmage.
Swanson powers through, met by Bobby Jones. You know, we mentioned Gradkowski. He popped in here to the booth, actually, before the game. He's a guy who's trained Woodside, who's also spent some time working out with Jeff Garcia, and a guy who's really excited about what the rest of this season holds for Woodside, a guy who's on pace to break most of his school records.
And he felt just fine about it. You know, he realizes, hey, records are meant to be broken. Had a great run here. Logan Woodside's had a great run as well. If they get broke, so be it.
Early jump, there's a flag, taking a shot to the end zone. Looking for John Vay Johnson.
They're going to call this an interception,
yeah,
Mike.
An interception and a touchback, but that might be nullified with the flag at the 20-yard line.
Offside. Defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Well, it's just a killer when you see the offsides and you got a veteran quarterback from the nose tackle right there who knows he's got a free play. Maybe a bit risky, but go ahead and take a shot. Great defensive play here by Smalls on the corner, tipping that ball back in and giving his fellow defender an opportunity who intercepts it, but the penalty there negates it.
Easy to say what if, but also without the flag, Woodside maybe doesn't take that shot to the end zone.
Correct.
He's flushed out, hasn't been sacked tonight, but he's brought down at the ankles by Josh Corcoran, the junior from Lakeville, Minnesota. Finally gets the elusive quarterback.
You know, what makes this offense so good, Mike, is it is such a rhythm and timing offense. Rarely tonight have we seen Logan Woodside hold on to the football or bring pressure onto himself because he's not getting the ball out and getting the clock going off in his head. That time, he held on to the football, and it cost him.
Mac's leading defense also leads in sacks. They're 26th of the year. Swanson testing the line with lateral quickness across the 10 to the 5 and cut down just short of the goal line. What agility from the senior from Aliquippa, PA.
It's a wonderful little jump cut in there, huh? Hurrying up to the line, getting to the 1-yard line here. See if they can punch one in. Really impressive there on 2nd and 15.
Swanson diving to the top. His 3rd touchdown of the night. Toledo gets some separation. Swanson going over 3,000 yards for the career tonight with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the evening. And the Mac's leading rusher helps the Rockets extend their home field advantage. It's 10.
7 plays, 5 on the ground. And this jump cut helps convert a 2nd and 15 to give Toledo a fresh set of downs. The very next play, it's Swanson in for the score as Toledo on back-to-back series pulled ahead of Northern Illinois.
Terry Swanson has gotten things into high gear in the second half. Mac's leading rusher went 9 carries, 32 yards, and 1 score in the first half. And here in the third quarter, 9 carries, 37 yards, but most importantly, 2 touchdowns. Beebe from inside the 5 helps the Huskies get nice starting field position here on a drive where they really need a score. Fresh off that comeback win against Penn State, J.T. Barrett and the 6th-ranked Buckeyes look to channel some Urban Meyer magic as they go to Kinnick Stadium Saturday, 3:30 Eastern on ESPN. Urban Meyer in November at Ohio State is a remarkable 19-1.
Got to get your team playing their best football late down the stretch, stay healthy. It was exciting to see Ohio State get some explosive plays back in their passing game behind J.T. Barrett last week. Kinnick Stadium's a tough place to play, though.
Pass incomplete on first down, and they've got a 6-game winning streak running right now. Barrett's completing 75% of his passes in that span. That is a really sharp number.
Completes 13 of 13 last week in the fourth quarter, 16 straight. A really impressive outing. He was decisive, accurate. A lot of playmakers for him to spread the ball around. Those guys starting to come into their own a little bit for their quarterback.
Childers at quarterback here for NIU, just a hair over 50% right now, and 132 yards through the air. It's a smothering defense downfield, so a very capable runner has to just take what he can get and dance out of bounds toward his own sideline.
A little surprised Northern Illinois in this series got away from running the football on first down and then chose to throw it again on second, finding themselves in a 3rd and 10, which is unfamiliar territory for this offense when it stayed ahead of the chains up until this point.
Two safeties back deep for Toledo, which brings the rush and gets to Childers. He gets back to the line of scrimmage and no more as Zach Quinn comes up with a 3rd down tackle.
Toledo Rockets have really clamped down in their run game, their run defense, as well as pass coverage. See some pressure coming up back on the linebacker there, and Marcus Childers has to make something out of nothing and just get back to the line of scrimmage. Not been well protected the last 2 series.
Toledo's defensive coordinator Brian George told us last night, he says, you know what, 1st and 2nd down, we're pretty simple. 3rd down, though, and this is the word he used, we get a little freaky.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We'll do a little freaky stuff there on 3rd down, and that's exactly what they've done. And I think they've had to come up with some different answers, and they've been helped by their running back here in the second half. Terry Swanson has really played well. They've fed him the rock. He's gotten stronger as the game has moved on with a touchdown on that last series. And this is a back that has really come into his own behind an offensive line that's had to be reshuffled. And you take a look at the production there by half tonight for Terry Swanson.
This has been an anomaly defensively today for Northern Illinois. Coming into this game, the Huskies had allowed only 4 rushing touchdowns, and it's 3 on the ground here for Swanson in this one. It's 2 yards to start the drive.
And the staple for the Northern Illinois defense has been creating negative plays and tackles for loss against opponents, and they have not been able to sustain that and create those plays here tonight against Toledo.
Second down, cut blocks in front. Deontay Johnson with the underneath grab. Another opportunity here for NIU to try and force a 3 and out. They excel in that.
They do excel in that. They haven't excelled tonight. Take a look at that number right there. You know that when you're getting off the field on defense, you're giving your offense more possessions, you're going to have an opportunity to score more points. In the first half, Toledo was on the sideline offensively, exactly how you want it. It's been a complete reversal of fortune here in the 3rd quarter.
Short toss to the 25-yard line. It's Swanson. So they get what they wanted there.
You could make an argument the way the momentum, Mike, has gone this third quarter as we wind down and how the scales have tipped. That might be the most important stop that this Northern Illinois defense has had in this entire game, because if Toledo goes down and scores again, they're really behind the 8 ball.
And especially, as we talked about a couple times in the first half, the way that NIU had played, especially with the clock. That ball is hit, and it's going the other way. Now there's a whistle. Jackson Abresh gets through for the block. 36 seconds left in the third. Things get interesting.
Not only did he block it, I think he caught it. I don't know if that ball actually hit the ground. They blew him dead once he recovered the ball on the field. Let's watch this here off the top of the foot. Oh, it does. It hits the ground, then it recovers right into his cradle there. What a huge play. You go 3 and out. You bring your punt block team on. You say, you know what, guys? We've got to make a play. We've lost momentum. Things have gotten stale for us. We have poor field position so far in the third quarter. Here we are. Take the ball away off of a 3 and out. You've got the ball on the 10-yard line going in. Now let's make something happen.
See if they look for the tight end, Wyman, down here in the red zone. First down run. The ball goes to Marcus Jones. Wyman, 35 in the white, though, is their touchdown reception leader with 6 this year.
Yeah, he draws an awful lot of attention because he puts such stress on your safeties and down the middle of the field between the hashes. So you're concerned about the outside receiving targets, and you got this big-bodied guy that they've been able to locate and create some plays down the middle of the field.
That's the end of the third quarter.
15 minutes to go here in Toledo. Big game in the West, and a blocked punt keeps the Huskies alive. Second straight week where special teams has played a factor. A blocked punt last week against Eastern Michigan. Jackson Abresh soaring through. If that ball bounces away, maybe it's just 6 for NIU.
Yeah, there's 2 other members of the NIU punt block team that are just sitting there waiting for the ball. Unfortunately, he falls on top of it. Of course, love having the possession of the ball, but that could have been a walk-in for the Huskies. Toledo very fortunate in that regard.
The Huskies and their redshirt freshman quarterback Marcus Childers, start number 4 of his career, trying to make this a 1-score game to start the 4th. Stood up, and here comes third down.
This is where you get concerned with a young quarterback. You're in the red area, it gets condensed. You want to be careful that you don't put him in a position where he feels like he's got to make a play, so he forces the ball, makes a poor decision. It's the most important area of the field here for this young quarterback and redshirt freshman, Marcus Childers.
Back to throw, steps up in the face of pressure, incomplete on 3rd down and 7. He had to get something away quickly there.
Critical points here, Mike.
Try from 25 for Hagan. And 3 points for Hagan and the Huskies, who pulled to within a touchdown. Looking like tonight in Toledo, it's going to come down to the wire. No surprise, a close game at the Glass Bowl tonight, with 5 of the last 6 games between Toledo and NIU decided by a touchdown or less. Both teams 4-0 in Mid-American Conference play. And the winner of this one controls their destiny as far as conference play goes, looking to get to the conference title game, perhaps staring down Ohio on the other side of the conference December 2nd, that championship game in Detroit. Higgins kicked to the 5 after his field goal, returned across the 25-yard line by Desmond Phillips. We've got more college football coming up for you this Saturday on ABC. Clemson and NC State at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. A win for NC State. You got a 2-loss team in the ACC title game out of the Atlantic. And then 8 Eastern, Virginia Tech taking on Miami. Both games with big conference and college football playoff implications. You can also see them on the ESPN app.
It's a big one in Raleigh for the Wolfpack after coming away with a loss to Notre Dame on the road and playing host to Clemson. It's going to be a big one.
Swanson goes on first down for Toledo.
You take a look at the ACC standings in the Atlantic. I think, the expectations were that you'd see some good things from Clemson. A lot of people were expecting NC State to be a good football team. Louisville's dipped down a little bit. Boston College has been playing just out of sight the last few weeks. And when you look at the Coastal, it's really come down to what quarterbacks emerged. A quarterback from Miami has emerged, as well as Virginia Tech and Josh Jackson.
Underscores the point you made about this game tonight, where you said pretty much either roster, you can have interchangeable players at a lot of spots. John Vay Johnson with the grab there for Toledo, but it's the quarterbacks, especially in this conference, that make the difference.
Yeah, there's no question. And these two teams are at the top of the pack right now for a reason. They're talented. They play good, sound run defense. They have the ability to create explosive plays, but there is an experience edge with Logan Woodside and Toledo Rocket offense.
Third and 2, Swanson sneaks his way through and moves the chains for the Rockets. What a reliable go-to he's been tonight, where explosive plays have been hard to come by. Deontay Johnson has had a few, but other than that, Terry Swanson has been the horse for Toledo.
Yeah, there's no question, and it's really helped to hear in the beginning of the fourth quarter, but certainly for the majority of the third quarter, to be in second and third and short, and Toledo's taken advantage of that with Terry Swanson running the football and securing the football, most importantly.
Career high 3 rushing touchdowns for him tonight. Impressive, seeing as this defense has only allowed 4 total this year and almost came up with an interception there. They've got 13 interceptions, 5th best in college football.
Wow, this could have been catastrophic. That could have been intercepted, should have been intercepted twice with Mackenzie Lewis, and then Smalls, the corner number 1 there, having a second opportunity. There's the first tip, there's the second. Safety coming up late. That could have been a crushing blow for Toledo offensively, because there was a lot of green grass in front of both of those attempted interceptions.
You think Kevin Kane just said, "You're killing me"?
Yeah. After he pulled out a big tuft of hair.
Albert Smalls missed that last interception. Sorry for that. 2nd and 10. Big throw over the middle. McKinley Lewis rises to the occasion and to the football, whirring into his hands into plus territory. So quickly back to the line of scrimmage, as they have several times tonight, but this time an accelerated snap as well. A nice chunk on the ground for Terry Swanson.
Good patience there by Swanson, just to kind of throttle down a little bit behind the line of scrimmage, wait to see how things worked out in front of him, and then sneaks through a tight crease, 5 yards a pop. Gotta love that if you're Toledo.
Woodside ready to go. He became Toledo's all-time leading passer tonight. And another one zip-lined inside the 25-yard line. Reliable target, tight end Jordan Fisher.
come up big tonight. He's had several catches that have gone for big chunk plays. In fact, he's responsible for the majority of those explosive plays tonight in the passing game for Toledo.
He's got his play, the second-year starter. Gives it up to a fellow senior. Swanson met by Bobby Jones, a gain of 4. Jones and Jawan Johnson, those two outside linebackers, very active tonight for NIU.
Well, they've had to be, because with the third quarter and now into the fourth quarter, the way Toledo's run the football, you're seeing a lot more man-to-man coverage on the back end with Northern Illinois, feeling like they got to sneak an extra defender here in the box, and still haven't been able to come up with an answer to slow down Terry Swanson in the Toledo run game.
Swanson at 83 yards, still 21 shy of his season average. What he's helping to do here is A, get closer to the goal line, but B, start to think about time left on the clock here. 10 minutes to go. Toledo could stretch their lead back to 2 scores on this drive. Woodside clears out Swanson. A short pitch in front for Fisher. Read very well by the Husky defense. That was Abresh making the tackle, who blocked the punt earlier. We still, other than in the first quarter and a half, have not talked very much about Sutton Smith. He's been neutralized.
He's completely been neutralized, and it's because it's difficult for a guy that's 6 foot, 225 pounds on the edge to hold up consistently versus the run. He's used to having space to move, but nevertheless, the defense for NIU holds up here, forces a field goal attempt by Toledo.
Vest looking to knock it in from 34 yards. Plenty of leg on the kick, and that one is good. Toledo back in front by 10. Taking time off the clock, adding points to the lead. The Rockets have 5-0 in conference play in their sights.
ESPN Thursday Night College Football, brought to you by Allstate, official protector of college football fans.
The iconic Tony Paco's Cafe hot dog restaurant here in Toledo, founded in 1932, just off of a $100 loan. We've got ourselves a 10-point game. Mike Cousins, Tom Luganville back with you here at the Glass Bowl, as Rod Carey's Huskies look to make it a comeback for the second straight week. Last week, well, it was a nail-biter for them to improve to 4-0 in conference play. 27-17, Toledo coming through on a 34-yard field goal to stretch the advantage. First place in the West on the line here tonight. So the nail-biter last week helps to have a running quarterback, doesn't it? Marcus Childers, touchdown run, ties it up in the fourth. Eastern Michigan's Paul Fricano had a week to forget. He missed 2 already, missed a third field goal. This is a chance to win it. And then Marcus Jones had a touchdown run to win the game in overtime. 30-27, they escape with the victory and improve to 4-0 in conference play. Sometimes you got to be good, and sometimes you just need a little bit of luck.
Well, and every time you just got to keep playing.
Childers opens it up to start this drive. Spencer Tears goes up top, and the sophomore from Robbins, Illinois, south of DeKalb, with the grab for 31.
That's twice he's made a catch that's been contested on the skinny posts for Marcus Childers tonight. Good focus there, hauls it in, and now you get a little momentum back, as I referenced. Don't look at the clock. Don't look at the scoreboard. Just play. Finish.
Childers overthrows, looking for Blake, who looked around looking for a flag, and he doesn't get it. Brings up 2nd and 10. Slippery turf. Ball down to the 44-yard line. So it sets up a 3rd down and long.
That's unfortunate there for Northern Illinois. That probably cost them another 3 or 4 yards. Big difference there in 3rd down here now with 3rd and 9 looming.
3rd down, earlier passing situation. They brought in Tommy Mister, who missed a block. It ended up as a sack. And here on this snap, Jones at running back stays on the field. Here comes pressure, and we've got whistles and a flag. Darlow Blue had broken loose, and he had the sack earlier as well, coming on the blitz.
Snap infraction, offense number 64. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And that's an area with a young quarterback that you can get them swimming a little bit, not knowing where it's coming, where the pressure's coming from. Am I protected? How do I protect myself? You're going to see off the edge here on the right side of your screen. Not only did they not have it protected, the quarterback wasn't aware of where the danger was coming from. Very fortunate that play actually got blown dead.
Trying to set up the screen toward the outside with a little bit of running room, but not enough to get the 1st down. Play is brought to a close by Woodley at the 40-yard line, and it's 4th down.
Northern Illinois is going to go for it here. I don't necessarily disagree with this. It's 4th and 5. Clock's running down. You still have 3 timeouts.
Childers with escapability against a 4-man rush. A long throw. A mistake by the freshman, picked off by Mathis. Toledo takes over with 7:01 to go.
Trayvon Mathis on a ball thrown low into the inside, which you cannot do on the out route. On 4th and 5, Toledo takes over on downs.
A lot of excitement. When was the last time this late in the season that Miami was in a meaningful game like this?
It's been a long, long time, and that's why there's so much excitement around Mark Richt and his program right now. And they're going to be tested. Certainly, the back half of this schedule is going to give them some stiff tests here, starting this week.
Off the 2nd interception of the night by Toledo's Trayvon Mathis, the Rockets offense takes over here. 7 minutes to go, and we get a chance to revisit that 4th down and 5 play call by NIU.
Yeah, and the field's 53 1/3 yards wide. So when you look at this throw that they asked quarterback Marcus Childers to make, you're asking him to make a throw that's 2/3 of the field wide on 4th and 5. I think there were some other options they could have gone to, maybe with some earlier, easier throws to get the ball out of his hand, maybe some option routes underneath. I have no problem with the call, but that was a difficult throw to go to for a call like that.
Makes a big impact for NIU, down by 10 with 6.5 minutes to go. And first place in the MAC West on the line here. 2 teams at 4-0, each riding a 4-game winning streak since they've gotten into conference play. And a good night gets even better. Deontay Johnson, the top target this year, the top target tonight for Logan Woodside.
And the smartest play Deontay Johnson made right there was to turn back inside so that he doesn't get out near the sideline and stop the clock by going out of bounds.
Timeout, Northern Illinois. 30-second timeout.
And there you go, forces Northern Illinois to use one.
Huskies stop
Please
the clock.
Set the game clock to 6:11, please. 6:11. Thank you.
So the implications here are big for both of these teams with 3 games left in the regular season after this one. And you look at what's left on the schedule after this. Toledo actually has a pretty important game coming up next Wednesday. They're going to take on Ohio, which right now sits in first place, tied for first place with Akron in the East. Both of those teams at 4-1. And after this, NIU has Ball State, Western Michigan, and Central Michigan. Combined record of 12-14 for their opponents. But this one, pretty crucial for getting to Detroit. So at this point in the season, it boils down to just about 2 teams at the top of each division in the Mid-American Conference. Ohio, Akron, and these 2 here tonight, NIU and Toledo. Johnson on the edge again on 3rd down. And there's a lot riding on this season as well.
Second charge timeout
for Toledo.
30-second timeout.
Trying to find themselves back in the championship game.
You know, it's crazy to me. Why would you throw that pass with an opportunity for it to be out of bounds, be incomplete, stop the clock? Just run the football. Toledo's got to know better than that here
The
late in the game.
Luganville Inquisition. An unseasonably warm night here tonight in Toledo. Temperatures in the 60s. No one's complaining about that. Not surprising that it is a close game between NIU and Toledo.
Give me my track record with this company. If I'd been on the sidelines tonight,
pouring rain
and minus 10 degrees.
Quint Kasnick took that bullet for you yesterday.
Good, he's due.
Beebe calls for the fair catch. Got it at the 31-yard line. JT Barrett, the Ohio State Buckeyes going to Kinnick Stadium. That's Saturday, 3:30 Eastern on ESPN. You can see it on the ESPN app as well. Iowa has dropped 5 straight against Ohio State, which has been on an absolute tear over the last 6 games and finds itself in the first college football playoff rankings at number 6. Appropriate?
Go Dogs. Yeah, it is appropriate right now. How about them?
So work to do here for NIU. DJ Brown, intended receiver on 1st down, and first time for Georgia in the rankings since 2014.
I think you can attribute so much of what they've accomplished to coaching. I think they're playing above and beyond what their roster is currently, and you can attribute a lot of that success and the reasoning to that to quarterback Jake Fromm. Doesn't have to be spectacular. Makes the routine plays, makes the plays he's got to make within the offense, and they can run the football.
Childers can run it as well. He's just short of the sticks as the freshman quarterback is run out by Trayvon Mathis. He's had quite a day, the team captain in his 2nd year as a starter with a couple of picks today. 9-yard gain there. It's 4-down territory for the Huskies. They've got 3rd down and 1 with 5.5 to go.
Well, with the way that Northern Illinois has run the football throughout the course of this game, now they've gotten away from it the last couple of series, I'd run the football right here.
They do. Childers gets the call through the middle and a 1st down to the 45-yard line. Childers goes to the edge for Beebe.
Good smart throw, get the ball out of bounds. Keep in mind Northern Illinois still has 1 timeout, but had to burn 2 on defense as Toledo offensively was able to keep the ball in bounds without converting to a 1st down.
2nd down follows a gain of 6. Standing tall, that ball is incomplete. If you're looking for Troy and Idaho tonight, a little Fun Belt action for you on a Thursday. That game's going to get underway 9:17 Eastern, so you're about 180 seconds away. Prepare yourselves. It's going to start on ESPN News when that game gets underway.
I take it that's at the Kibbe Dome this weekend, or actually this week.
Don't fast forward yourself here.
I know.
Third and 4, all sorts of time. Childers now can just take off. Space clears out, and instead of trying to make a difficult throw, he relies on his legs. Does his ability at points belie his age where he doesn't try and force a throw there?
I think so. You know, he's really only made one poor throw, and it was on 4th and 5 on the last series. And you see him here working through things. The clock goes off in his head, secures the ball. You see him tuck the ball in the pocket there. And now it's like, hey, listen, let's take what I can get out of bounds, and live to play the next down.
4 receivers. He goes for single coverage. Nearly had it picked off by Blue, and there's 2 flags down.
A penalty marker down on the play.
We'll get the call here from Tom Stapleton.
Holding, defense, number 21. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, this is the way to do it if you've only got 1 timeout left. You get 2 plays back-to-back that are out of bounds. You get an incomplete, stops the clock. You get an extra 10 yards for the penalty. By all means necessary, do what you got to do.
Can the Huskies make it a second comeback win in as many weeks? Childers with the option and finds Marcus Jones running sidecar with him for a pickup of 3.
Some point here, though, Mike, they're going to have to start taking some shots towards the end zone because they're going to want to preserve this one last timeout if they can help it. And they're still 30 yards away.
That's a strong throw, and perhaps too strong for Beebe, who falls face first trying to grab it.
It was a really good route by Beebe there, bringing it to the inside like he was going to run a slant and then flipping his hips to the outside. A wide open throw, one that you just can't miss if you're Marcus Childers in this type of environment. It would have taken him right out of bounds, given you a first down, and stopped the clock.
Third down and 7. Now here's the shot they were looking for. Incomplete. Tears the intended receiver for NIU.
Tears has been a sure-handed guy. He's got 2 steps on this. Ball's underthrown a little bit. This ball's thrown on time and up and over. This is a touchdown. And while it's thrown behind the defender's got great positioning on Tears.
Christian Hagan to try from 47. Long this year is 41. With the ball down, he's got some distance to it, and the kick is no good. And it stays a 10-point game. Huskies with 1 timeout and 3 minutes, 46 seconds staring them down at the glass bowl.
Just didn't have enough muscle under that.
It's been a wild ride this year for Hagan, who started off 4 of 10, came into this game having made his last 3, but just not enough juice. So it'll take a little extra magic if the Huskies are going to make it 5-0 in conference play. Perhaps they might need a few more timeouts than the one that they came to play with. McKelty Williams finally makes the stop after a big first down run for Swanson. Number 2 gets 22.
First and 10 from the Huskies, 48-yard line.
Swanson today, 26 carries, 107 yards. So the leading rusher in the MAC does it again. 13th career game over the century mark. They brought the play clock all the way down to 3 there, encroaching on 3 minutes left, looking to extend their winning streak to 5.
No, this is one of 4 games that Toledo's in the middle of that is actually at home before they've got to go on the road, 2 weeks in a row at Ohio, at Bowling Green, and then they play the day after Thanksgiving at home here against the Western Michigan Broncos. So Ohio on the other side of the conference on the road, going to be a big matchup, back-to-back weeks here for Toledo Rockets.
It's going to be huge because NIU is going to have their eyes on that game for sure, with Ohio 7-2 overall, 4-1 in conference play. And they're looking at that game saying, hey, to the Bobcats, do us a little favor here. Hand Toledo their first conference loss of the season if indeed the Rockets do hold on. Bowling Green and Western Michigan, a little bit of an easier road there for Toledo, speaking just strictly off of records, with the Falcons at 2-7 and the Broncos at 5-4. And you predict a high-scoring game in that one as well, with Ohio and Toledo, 2 of the 2 top scoring offenses in this league, both in the top 15 in the nation.
Toledo doing a really nice job managing this clock, getting the ball, the
third and final charge timeout, Northern Illinois, 30-second timeout.
And that's Northern Illinois' last timeout of the night, with management of the clock. Very well done by Toledo.
Looking ahead to SportsCenter tonight, 11 Eastern, after Navy and Temple wraps up on ESPN. Herm Edwards will break down Buffalo's offense against the Jets and answer the question if Kelvin Benjamin puts them among the AFC's elite. Folks in Charlotte not all too happy about that. Plus, who's Golden State's biggest threat in the West? Tom Rinaldi will sit down with Notre Dame head coach Brian Kelly to discuss the football program's turnaround. You can catch SportsCenter at night. Kevin Connors, John Buchagras take you through it. It's also available on the ESPN app.
No, Notre Dame right now, Mike, they've got the one thing that you can't coach, and that's confidence. There's a chemistry in that locker room with a good group of kids that went through a lot last year, and you got to credit Mike Elko, the new defensive coordinator hired away from Wake, because that team went from being abysmal on defense to really, really good.
So no quit here, going for it on 4th down. Flag flies from the backside of the play on a 4th and 1. The initial indication would be this would be a penalty against Toledo, but we'll see.
Holding offense number 58, 10-yard penalty, repeat 4th down.
That goes against Cameron Bell for Jason Candle's Rockets.
This is an easy decision here. See the hold here on the inside versus the one technique defender. That's just a tackle and a tug. It's a good call by our officiating crew here tonight.
And it's set up 4th and 1. Going for it. The punt team comes on. How about Jason Candle? Just 37 years old. Native of the Youngstown area from Salem, Ohio. This is a guy who's a rising star in the coaching profession.
Well, he certainly is. And what a blueprint that has been laid down by not only Matt Campbell before Jason Candle here, but their roots all the way back to Mount Union and Larry Karras and the wonderful job that he had done for so many decades there, and what he's instilled in these young coaches that have come up and taken this blueprint and applied it and have won and sustained success. Now you're seeing it here at Toledo, and I got to see Iowa State last week upset TCU, and obviously turning around the fortunes of the Cyclones as well with Matt Campbell.
You hear people talk about culture a lot in college football. You sit down for 3 hours, you watch a game. We're not thinking about culture while we're sitting on the couch. Is it as big as coaches make it out to be?
I think it can be, especially if there's a dynamic or a personality quirk that's not healthy, and you've got to change that, whether it's by changing people, whether it's by changing coaches, whether it's by changing the process by which you go about your business. I think it can be a very, very big deal.
The Rockets get to the quarterback. Ola Adeni is team leading 5th sack of the year. First time we've called his name tonight.
Yeah, really, he's had just an unbelievable presence with this defense the last 3 to 4 weeks, but has been relatively quiet here. On second down, you're seeing him chasing down this play as a Northern Illinois back, and Jones gets out of bounds. You know, the one thing about Jason Candle at Toledo, Mike, that I thought was interesting, he's like, listen, I don't have a lot of rules. You want to wear an earring? You want to wear your hair long? I don't get all that, but you want to show up late to a meeting, or you want to not be on time for the bus that's going to the airport, you will not play here. Our rules are very, very simple, and we're very, very upfront about it.
One-handed grab. Wyman has been really neutered tonight offensively, gets 5 and stops the clock inside of the minute. And that's the type of coach, too, with rules like that. Simply being on time, that has ideals that will pay off for these players well beyond their time on campus.
You know, if you're not early, you're late. You know, I had a coach one time I played for. Every meeting he started, it was at 11:23 or 12:06. Because if you just heard noon or you heard 11:30, whatever. But that number would stick in your head. You go, oh, 12:06, all right. I got to make sure I'm there for that. You know, it just, importance of being on time. Little things make a big difference.
Rain starts again. Wyman hangs on. Tough shot there. We've got a flag that comes in as well. Perhaps a review for targeting. Trayvon Mathis collides with the big 6'4", 250-pound tight end.
Now think about how devastating this will be as Toledo goes on the road against Ohio next week. If this holds, not only is he going to be suspended for this game, but for the first half of next week as well, with 42 seconds remaining. I
don't think just off that initial replay that would rise to the level of targeting,
There's
seeing
no
as he played with the shoulder. There you go.
Play. The hit was to the shoulder. First down, Northern Illinois.
Boy, do I love how this officiating crew handled that. They huddled up, talked about it, didn't have to go up to the booth, realized that they could take a different set of eyes and talk it through. Very well done by this officiating crew here tonight.
The rain is coming down as hard as it has all day. Christian Blake scampers out of bounds. This is about what we expected. We had a little bit of rain earlier in the game for about 3 minutes. The forecast called for rain at 9, but the rain is late. I don't know if it got the memo. You can't be late around here.
That's true. No, you're not. You can't be late in this booth.
Jones with the underneath catch. Gets a first down to stop the clock with 28 seconds to go. I think the best way I ever heard it was if you're early, you're on time.
Absolutely.
You're on time, you're late, and you're late, you're fired.
That's right. Love it. Or you're at least fined.
Childers with the game down to its final few snaps. Well, the Huskies are going to drop to 6-3. Take their first loss in MAC play to go to 4-1. Meanwhile, the Rockets continue the exciting ride of the 2017 season. They're going to go to 8-1 and stay atop the MAC West. Winners tonight, 27-17, 5-0 in conference play. Thanks so much for being with us here tonight on behalf of our entire crew. Led by Tom Schofield, statistician Keith Parsons, spotter Charles Polari, my partner Tom Luganbell. I'm Mike Cousins. Toledo a winner 27-17. Idaho and Troy with Mark Neely and Jay Walker.